good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. I was just settling in and reviewing my latest findings. Mind flayers, cultists, and, of course, your esteemed company. Why, I'm practically an expert. They've tentacles, you know. Quite shocking. The druid Halson had some kind of mind flare specimen in a jar in his quarters. A replica, no doubt, but truly fascinating to see up close. As a matter of fact, I do. But why do you? That's quite impossible. You'd have undergone ceramorphosis by now. I can't attest to the specifics, but I do know that not long after insertion, the host, that's you, turns into a mind flayer. As there's not a tentacle on your head, I can only assume you haven't been infected. If what you say were true, you'd be a mind flayer by now. You? Infected by a mind flayer? Huh, ridiculous. Isn't it? Perhaps that's for the best. I'd be irresponsible not to debunk such a strange claim. If I just peer in your eye, I could quickly... Oh, my dear, sweet gods! If we managed it, we'd have a specimen of incredible rarity on our hands. I'll need to research the particulars, however. Give me a bit of time, and I'll have this little issue sorted. Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. Not yet, I'm afraid. But my expectations are very, very high.
What am I to do?
No time to rest.
Ah, my favorite traveling companion. Looking at something? I'm looking too, but not seeing very much. Another quirk of my affliction. Preening in the looking glass? Petty vanity? Of course I miss it. I've never even seen this face. Not since it grew fangs and my eyes turned red. I don't know. I can't remember. My face is just some dark shape in my past. Another thing I've lost. And what do you see, exactly? Oh, go on. What? But I don't... Excuse me. Ah, my favorite traveling companion.
You know, I've been catching myself smiling more lately. I think that's your fault. Very serious of you. But go ahead. It's strange. I've been dwelling on what I told you before about wanting to become a Dark Justiciar. But perhaps I should be content with my lot. I'm already blessed to have you at my side, after all. Fine. What's on your mind? I suppose some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with. Quite splendidly, to give credit where it's due. You and I have shared some good times together, and it seems we have plenty in common. There is work to do.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. Not yet, I'm afraid. But my expectations are very, very high.
You recognize the feathered creature. It's the owlbear cub you rescued. The cub tilts his head. He does not trust you. Yet. The cub's eyes lock onto the food in your hand. The creature gulps the food down. It seems he hasn't eaten in some time. With a hungry chirp, he steps forward. He wants more.
Careful. Once that thing's eaten through the camp, it might start looking at you hungrily.
Alarmed by your companion's approach, the cub flees into the forest.
I'm not chasing after it, if that's what you're thinking.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. My research turned up a rather brilliant technique that seems quite actionable. It's not too deep, just behind the orbital socket. I could attempt an extraction. I've a needle in my tunic, after all.
Volo carefully holds one of your eyes open and begins to prod uncertainly with the needle. The needle finds the gap between eyeball and socket. Volo frowns and begins to push. Pain shoots through your body as the needle snags on your optic nerve.
I think I have it!
The needle seesaws back and forth, plucking the nerve like a heartstring.
Oh, bother. There's some obstacle in the way. I shall need a more robust implement.
Volo carefully withdraws the needle from your eye. Then, reaching into his bag, he produces an ice pick. Volo slowly brings the ice pick closer to your eye.
Now, don't move.
Cold metal presses against the skin beneath your brow. And then, tap, tap, stab.
I agree. It's a feisty critter. Just a little further.
Volo tears the pick from your brain with a violent jerk. Your eye plops down into the mud.
Drat.
He pauses, looks down at your eye, and recoils slightly as it sinks into the mud.
There appears to be an amount of cosmetic damage. Oh, fantastic! That squint does wonders for your gravitas, in my humble opinion. Though, perhaps there's something we can do. Take this. A far superior relic to that old jelly you were trained to. Try it on for size. And, it was Very nice to have met you. I'm sure you'll sort out your little brain problem one way or another. Far away from here, if you've a heart. Terribly sorry, my friend. Ta.